already did my brows. As I said, this is an eyeshadow and foundation tutorial. So we're going to go ahead and start with our concealer. I used the Born This Way concealer in the color of Mocha. And I put that all over my eyelids, all the way up to my brow bone. You don't necessarily have to go to your brow bone, but I do that because when I'm putting on my eyeshadow, I don't go all the way up to my brow bone with it. And the concealer leaves this highlighted look that makes the brows look a little bit more clean. So then I go in with my foundation brush to press in all of that concealer so that it can spread evenly all over my eyes. Once I'm done with that, I take a light brown eyeshadow and I just go over my eyelid with that right below the brow bone because, as I said, the concealer is going to give a highlighted effect and it's going to make it look cleaner. So right below the brow bone in the crease of the eyelid, I like to go over it with a light brown, something that's not going to be like too visible. It just kind of sets the concealer in for me, pretty much. And then I take a darker brown from my Makeup Revolution palette, and I go over my eyelid with that because for this look, I just wanted something simple and natural and easy to do. And so I just go in with I'm gonna say a medium brown because I went in on the outer corners of my eyes with a darker brown just to give it a little bit more depth. So once I had that set, I did a wing liner. You don't have to do this. But then we're going to go ahead and prep the face. So we're going to moisturize our face. You're going to get the best moisturizer for your skin, oily, dry, whatever you got going on. And I went in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Primer and then the Power Grip Primer. I put that on top. And then I go ahead with my Makeup Revolution. I mixed in two foundations together. So I went ahead and pat the foundation in, ladies. This is important. Pat the foundation in. Do not rub it in. That's why it's called beating your face. As you can see, when you're patting it in all over your face, it looks like you're beating yourself in the face, but you're not. You get it. So then I go in with my concealer. I like to do under the eye, the bridge of the nose, the upper lip, the chin, the two corners of the nose, and then just a little circle right above the eyebrows in the center of the forehead. And then I like to put my contour just right on the cheekbones. And then on the bridge of the nose as well, on the outer corners of the concealer. So that when I blend that in, it just gives it like a slimming effect, okay? So I start blending in my concealer with the areas that don't need that much concealer because some of that product is going to get on that brush. So once you do that, you're going to do the under eye. You're going to look up to help decrease the creasing. And then you're going to blend it out towards your hairline. And then you're going to come in and blend it all the way on your nose and pat that in right below the contour line. This is why I like to do my contour at the same time because I know where to stop at when I get to my nose with my concealer. And so you're going to do that, and you're going to take a small sponge to blend in the concealer on the bridge of the nose and then go in and get that contour. When you're blending the contour on the cheek, you want to do it like in the upward motion a little bit and not in downward. That way it'll keep the face snatched. Once we got that, you're going to have a harsh line between the concealer and the contour. So you're going to take that concealer brush and you're just going to use whatever residue is left on it and blend those harsh lines until they're gone. You're going to add your blush on your cheekbone as well, right above where the contour went. And when I'm setting my face for my concealer, I use a pressed powder instead of using setting powder. And then for the other areas that don't crease or wrinkle as much, then I do the setting powder for those areas. I don't bake because I feel like baking makes you look a little bit more chalky and wrinkly. In this area here on my face below the contour, I usually use a setting powder that's closer to my skin tone so that when I'm done dusting it off, it don't give a chalky, ashy look. But I was being lazy, so I just went ahead and kept using the setting powder I was using. So that's just a tip. When you get to below the cheekbone for that non-chalky look, use a setting powder closer to your skin tone. And then I dust it off immediately with a light, fluffy brush. And then I like to spray it with a matte setting spray because I like that matte and not that dewy look. And then I like to air dry it and go in with my foundation brush, whatever's left over. I lightly pat my whole face, and that just blends everything in so that it's seamless. You can't see where everything begins or ends. Go ahead and lay your lashes. Get you a fixing spray so that after you do your setting spray, you could do your fixing spray as well, because that's going to make the makeup last longer than just a setting spray itself. And I use the Duo Lash Glue when I'm popping my lashes on in the dark color because it looks like an eyeliner. So why not? And then I go ahead and pop those lashes on. Those lashes definitely came from my website, lushme.com. So go ahead and check that out. These are the Russian curls in the style Paula. And then we're going to go ahead and do our lips. Do your lips however you want to do them, according to your look, according to your eyeshadow, so that it matches. And then you have to look at your face and make sure everything is seamless. And then voila. She gets down just like